You know you've got your head full of questions.
We know that's alright.
You know a question flips a switch.
It turns on the light. There's mysteries on every playground, riddles in the trees, marvels on every sidewalk, puzzles in you and me,
walking every street.
Why do men and women make love? How does the baby come out?
How does the baby get inside the mother?
Why don't babies have teeth when they're born?
What are condoms?
Why isn't there just one sex?
Every question has a reason to come into your head.
Why do only women have a period?
How does sperm move around?
Why does the man have to stick his penis into the lady to have a baby?
So ask it right out loud and listen to what is said.
These are great questions. You know, they deal with a lot of things. Our bodies, making babies. I think the best place to start is with relationships. Two people loving and caring for each other. Blue, what are you doing?
I'm drawing a picture of Fred and Anna. This is Fred.
And this is Anna.
Fred and Anna met when they were in college.
Hi there. I'm Fred.
That's, nice.
Snob?
They immediately develop a mutual distaste for each other.
Egomaniac.
Ego what?
Then one day in the middle of biology class, for no scientifically explainable reason,
Fred and Anna decided they liked each other after all. Since then, they've done many weird and wonderful things together.
Thank you.
Fred and Anna wanted to be together as much as possible.
I like to talk about what makes a good, loving relationship between two people. Now, what does it mean when we say that two people love each other? Jacob?
I don't know. It's probably different from the feelings you get when you love your dog or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Angela, you had your hand up there. Let's go for it.
They care about each other?
Very much, or just a little? Or what?
Very much.
Yeah. It's hard to put the feeling of love into words, isn't it? But you see, when you love someone, you want to make your life part of theirs.
Fred and Anna were good to each other. They built a life together. They liked to help each other. Sometimes, Fred and Anna wanted to be as close as possible.
When two people who care about each other touch and kiss, it feels very good. And sometimes they may want to make love. Do you know what that means? Eddie?
They might want to have a baby sometimes.
That's very good. That's true. Anyone else? Louis?
For some people, they just do it for fun. Like,
Yeah. You're both talking about why people make love. But now, let's talk about how people make love. Now, when a man and woman touch each other and kiss, sometimes this good feeling can cause the man's penis to get bigger and harder. and that's called an erection.
For the woman, that good feeling can cause the inside of her vagina to get wet from a fluid that the vagina makes. So that when the man or woman are both ready, and they both want to, the man can put his penis into the woman's vagina. That's called sexual intercourse, but often people call it making love.
Now, we know it may seem strange to you. It feels very good for the man and the woman. It's their way of saying how much they care about each other.
And eventually, as they continue to make love, the woman and the man might both have an orgasm. And this nice, warm feeling spreads all over the body.
Now, both the man and the woman can have this warm feeling. And when the man has an orgasm, semen comes out of his penis. Now, semen is a thick fluid with sperm in it. And sperm are the tiny sex cells made in the man's testicles. They're so small you need a microscope to see them.
And during sexual intercourse, the semen can come out of the man's penis into the woman's vagina. Now, that's the first step towards making a baby.
Okay, Randy, you have a question. What would you like to say?
About how much sperm does each testicle produce a day?
Testicles are always producing sperm, so that if a man ejaculates, more sperm are produced. So there are always millions and millions of sperm. Yeah, Louis.
If two men made love for two women, would it be bad, normal, or what?
Two men or two women can have loving relationships. They like the closeness of being together. They have a need for each other, and they can give each other love.
Angela, you have another question?
Is cum semen?
Yes, cum is a street word, a slang word for semen. That's what it means. But it's not a medically correct term. Shabil, you got something you want to say?
If a lady was about to have a baby, right, and a man puts more sperm inside the vagina, what would happen to, what would happen?
Nothing would happen. They would be making love for the pure enjoyment of it, so she wouldn't get pregnant with another child.
Be here, you know.
You're embarrassed to talk about it?
Yes.
That's because you don't hear it.
So, Lou, what do you think of sex?
I think it's basically good because if we didn't have sex, we wouldn't be here.
You gonna do it?
Probably.
Yeah. You know, I think sex is really gross to talk about.
Why?
Well,
You won't when you're older.
that's for sure. What do you think, Jamil?
Well, I don't know. I think sex is gross, but still you have to live with it because everybody's...
Why do you
I
think
learned a lot from Blue and Barb. I learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they didn't use it.
It's embarrassing to talk about erections and stuff like that.
Every question has a reason to come into your head.
Some of you have been asking Barbara and I questions about AIDS. So why don't some of you give us some questions now and we'll try to answer them.
How do you get AIDS?
Does AIDS stand for something?
How did AIDS come? Get into people?
Can you die from AIDS?
If AIDS get into the sperm and still alive and gets into the egg when the baby is born, will the baby have a problem?
You can get AIDS different ways. AIDS is a virus that lives in the blood, and people die from it. Pregnant women that have the virus can pass it on to the baby, and drug abusers can get it by using needles that other infected people have used. But usually, people get AIDS by having sexual intercourse with someone who already has the virus, because it can live in the man's semen or in the fluid in the woman's vagina. Now, there are different ways to protect yourself, and one way is to not have sexual intercourse at all. Another way is to use a condom. Now, do you know what that is? Yes, a condom is a rubber covering that goes over the man's penis during sexual intercourse, and it can usually prevent the man and the woman from becoming infected. Now, listen to me. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot get AIDS by being in the same room with someone who has the disease, or by touching that person, or by swimming in the same pool, or by breathing the same air. You cannot get AIDS from a mosquito. All of that is total nonsense. Okay, so we were talking about making love and making babies, so let's get back to that. What happens to the sperm once it's inside the woman? Danielle?
It fertilizes the egg.
Not bad at all.
It takes the egg from a woman and the sperm from a man to make a baby. During sexual intercourse, the man's penis goes into the woman's vagina. When the man has an orgasm, semen, which contains millions of sperm cells, are released. The sperm need the warmth of the woman's body to stay alive.
After sexual intercourse, the sperm swim up the woman's uterus and into the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes are the pathways that lead to the ovaries.
In each ovary, there are hundreds of thousands of tiny egg-like cells called ova. About once a month, a single ovum or egg leaves the ovary. This is called ovulation.
If the ovum and the sperm meet, then sometimes a single sperm will join together with the ovum. This is called fertilization.
The fertilized egg heads for the uterus. The uterus is the place where a baby grows.
What can a man and woman do if they don't want to have a baby? Jacob?
They could use birth control.
Very good. If a man and woman don't want to have a baby, then they have to use birth control every time they make love. It's their responsibility, because if they don't, chances are the woman will get pregnant. And even if she's very young, a girl can still get pregnant.
There are different kinds of birth control devices, and the purpose of them is to stop the ovum and the sperm from meeting. For several years, Fred and Anna had used birth control, but when they made the decision to have a baby, they stopped.
Fred,
Yes?
I'm pregnant.
Anna?
When a fertilized egg starts to grow, it's called an embryo. It's no bigger than a tiny dot. Andrew, you got something to say?
When the baby is just little bit, forming, does it have a small tail?
Not really. What you're seeing is the spinal column beginning to form. But it looks a lot like a small tail, doesn't it?
A baby gets all of its food and oxygen from its mother through her blood.
Do you know how the baby gets that food and oxygen? Eddie, how does it?
Yeah, that tube that goes through. Embryo bloom or something like that.
What was that, Louis? Close.
The tube that goes through your belly button, attached to your belly button.
Does anybody know what that's called?
Jacob, what do you think it's called?
The umbilical cord?
After the embryo has been growing for about 10 weeks, it's then called a fetus. It just spends its time floating in a warm liquid inside a kind of bag called the amniotic sac. And for 9 months, the baby grows.
So cute. Oh, look at those.
Look at that. Hey, Katie.
Baby.
It's in there somewhere, isn't it? It's right over top of where the baby is.
The mother's body seems to know when it's time for the baby to come. The uterus, which is one of the strongest muscles in the body, tightens and relaxes over and over and slowly pushes the baby down into the vagina, which is also sometimes called the birth canal.
Some of you must have younger brothers and sisters. Do you?
Yes.
No?
No?
Did your mom tell you what it was like when she went into labor? Do you remember what it was like?
No, kind of.
Or maybe she's told you what it was like when she had you?
Yes.
Yeah? Well, it's very hard work having a baby. The muscle contractions in the uterus can be very powerful. They have to be to get the baby out. And sometimes it can take hours and hours. But once it's over, it sure seems worth it.
I remember going into my mother's room and seeing my little sister all wrapped up in a little towel. She was just so tiny and red that I didn't believe it. Her skin was just so soft.
Well, I was sleeping when my brother was born.
No.
My figures. I didn't even get to see him.
How'd your brother?
My brother? Well, I was in labor. I mean, not me, but my mom was in labor, and then I was watching. My mom was quite sweaty, and then, and I was just watching, and then she was finished with it, and then I just went to go and see my brother, and then he was so small. He was so cute, and then small hands and everything. And
How old were you?
I mean, I was 5 years old.
But I can remember my dad came running in. He had his blue suit on and with one of those face things on.
Yeah.
And he's crying his eyes out. And then my sister just came, like, they pulled her out and she was about that small, and they had to put her in an incubator.
You know you've got your head full of questions.
We know that's alright. You know one question flips a switch, it turns on a light. There's mysteries on every playground, riddles in the trees, marvels on every sidewalk, puzzles in you and me.
Walking every street.
You know there's always things to learn.
We know that's not strange.
You know just when you got it down, it will rearrange. There's mystery written on your face, riddles on the breeze, marbles shining in your hands, puzzles in all your dreams.
In all your dreams.